Does your private practice need a little reboot? Let's face it, COVID-19 has kicked many healthcare clinicians in the teeth, and now it's not the same. And in fact, we are actually going into a new period that we've not experienced before. I'm going to call it the back to school time, because things are going to change up once more. So now's the time to be grabbing patients, and I really want you to reboot your practice. When we hit Control-Alt-Delete, you need to do a few things. The first thing is, I want you to reflect on where you are now, but not for too long. Things might not be as they seem. They may not be as bad as you imagine. Patients are still hiding. In fact, LEK Consulting recently did a big survey of patients who have private healthcare cover, and they found out that about 35% of patients are still hanging around in the background waiting till things are super safe, i.e. that a vaccine is around, before they decide to come into clinic. Those patients need coaxing in. In addition to this, I bet your geography around your patients has changed a bit. I work in the City of London, and guess what? Guys and girls are hiding out in Surrey and in Hampstead, and they ain't coming into the city. So they're probably also seeking healthcare providers who are literally on their doorstep. You need to remind them of who's best. So what I want you to do is to look back over the last 3 months and do a bit of data gathering. I want you to look at the number of new patient consultations that you had, the number of follow-up patient consultations, and compare it to this time last year. Now, that's not to say, oh my goodness, aren't things dreadful? It's more to say, wait a minute, what is the deficit? Is it really as bad as I think? Because when you actually have the numbers and know that you need to get another 10 more patients in to make it like it was last year, suddenly that doesn't seem so onerous. So see what the gap is and make that a little goal. The next thing I want you to do is to win back your old patients. Yes, I know you probably got in touch with them around about lockdown, and then you probably got in touch with them when clinic was opening and you wanted to show them your nice PPE pictures. Well done if you did that. But patients have a very, very short attention span. They've forgotten. Oh, is she open? Is she not open? Oh, who's that guy next door down the road? Even though I used to go to the city. So I want you to go back to your patient email lists. Now, this might be a clinical email list that's relevant because, you know, you've had interactions with those patients before. But even better is if you've got patients on your email list, your marketing email list, because that means they genuinely want to hear from you. Here's the crazy thing. Just because you did wonders for them last time doesn't mean that they're automatically going to think of you this time round, because they don't always twig that just because you treated them for X last time, you can also treat them for Y this time. What's a good way to connect with them? Well, let's do some blogging and vlogging, shall we? Think about it. There's going to be stuff that's relevant to the current pandemic, and I'm not talking about necessarily COVID cough and things like that, unless you're a respiratory physio. But what I am talking about is what are those little differences that you've seen in your private practice as a result of lifestyles changing around COVID. So for instance, in my own private practice, we've had patients who've been in terrible pain because they've been sitting on a radiculopathy situation. So they've got a massive disc bulge, they're in agony, they've just kind of been sitting on their derrieres all this time. They used to go to Pilates, or they may have gone and played football, but now they're doing absolutely sod all. And no surprise, they're spending 10 hours a day on Zoom. So I can effectively write a blog or vlog about those kind of problems and saying, are you somebody who's now got a COVID back? Are you somebody who's got a Joe Wicks knee? Or maybe you're somebody who's actually got a pain in their foot because you've been doing couch to 10K in a really quick manner, and therefore you might actually have a bit of a stress fracture. So think about what applies to your situation now. Now you might think, well, nothing's changed, bowel cancer is bowel cancer. But please remind patients that they shouldn't be waiting around getting worse, because I'm sure you've noticed that when they're coming into clinic, they're just looking a bit tattier than they should be. Breathe some life into your online marketing and your social media by talking about problems first. So rather than, we've opened our clinic again, we're available for bunion surgery if you've got a bunion, and here's our wonderful procedure, why not say, do you know what, have you noticed since you've been walking around with bare feet because it's been locked down, and you've now suddenly started to put some trainers on because it's getting a bit wintry, and that big toe of yours is sore and you realise you really need to get that bunion sorted? We can help. So try and talk about the problem first of all, so it rings true with the patient. Yeah, that's me, I've got that condition. And then follow it up with some information about how they can get in touch with you. So problems first and then solutions. Refresh your website. And by that I mean go and sort out those little marketing errors. For example, on your homepage, rather than welcome to my lovely website, it should be, are you somebody who's worried that you might have lung cancer because of that persistent cough? Or you're not sure if you've got flu, or you're not sure if you've got COVID. So go and make those changes on your website. The other changes that you need to make are making sure that you're speaking as yourself, i.e. the first person. So one of the disjointed things that we see all the time is you talk about this problem, and then you write the about page like you're being interviewed. Dr. Jones is doing this and this and this, and you trained there and there and there. No, it should be, I help people who've got problems like this. Is this happening for you? I know what it's like. It's a bit naff, isn't it? Come and get it sorted. You get the drift. And finally, get some business mentoring. It's very hard when you're inside your practice to understand what needs to be done to make it an effective, highly profitable private practice. So at Private Practice Ninja, we work one-to-one with clients. We tell you straight away what it is you need to be focusing on, what you need to be doing less of. There's an introductory Zoom hour as well, which we're doing at a bargain rate because we're in difficult times. And I'm excited to say we've got a little bit of news for you, which is soon we'll be launching the Private Practice Ninja Academy. Details to come soon, but it's going to be an online and community and learning live space where you can learn everything you need to really make it da bomb in private practice. So don't be discouraged about what's going on in the COVID world. Make sure now that you are grasping those opportunities. Don't forget there are other people out there who are no longer providing services when they did before, so you can go and assist those patients and guide them into port. Reach out to them again, and reach out to them a third time. You know it makes sense.